Good evening. This is the October 9th, 2025 meeting of the St. Mary's County Board of Appeals, located in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Meeting Room of the Chesapeake Building, 41770 Baldridge Street, Leonardtown, Maryland. I'm Chairman George Allen Hayden Sr., here with two other board members. We have met our minimum requirements for a quorum and will now proceed with the meeting. And we'll start with the introduction of the board to my left.
John Brown.
Ronald Payne.
And with us this evening is Steve Scott, our board attorney. Excused this evening is Rita Weaver, Donald LaRocco, Michael Valcott. And staff this evening is John Sterling Hauser, Deputy County Attorney, Brandy Glenn, Deputy Director, Land Use Growth Management, Stacy Clements, Planner 4, Land Use Growth Management, Amanda Yoel, Planner 4, Land Use Growth Management, Sean Lee Blasco, Planner 3, Land Use Growth Management, and Amy Carter, our video media producer. We have 4 public hearings this evening on our agenda this evening. And our first case that we'll call will be, first of all, let's get the staff sworn in. Who's going to be presenting tonight, if we could, please. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Our first case this evening is variance request VAAP 23-1978, DeBooth. And I think they want to talk to the board first before we open the hearing up. But who's presenting this evening on behalf of Booth?
I'm Mr. Booth.
Okay, let me get you sworn in, please. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
And your name and address for the
Kevin Booth, 45305 Reindeer Way, Valley Lee, Maryland, 20692.
Thank you. And your request this evening?
Requesting continuance until November 19th, sir.
November 19th?
I think that's what I was told.
Yes. November 19th, it's a Wednesday,
Okay.
the continuation date.
Okay, and the reason for the request?
So I can have more board members here.
Okay, okay. We'll take that. So I have a request to move the Booth hearing to November 19th. That's a Wednesday night. I think we've cleared our calendars for that.
Sure.
So I just need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll see you on the 19th at 6:30.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good evening. Our second case this evening is a variance request application VAAP 25-0787, Sims. Who's representing Sims? Mr. Vaughn. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and for the record, please.
Steve Vaughn, Little Silences Rest, 41650 Courthouse Drive, Leonardtown, Maryland, 20650.
Okay.
And we would also like to request a continuance to the next available hearing date for the same reason, for more.
You want a full board?
Yes.
We understand that. And the 19th is also for, good for Mr. Sims, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion,
I move that the case be moved to 19 November.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Vaughn, we'll see you on the 19th at 6:30.
All right. Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. Our next case this evening, going through these pretty quick, is a variance application request, VAAP 25-0103, Martinez Machine Shop. And Ms. Blasco, you making a presentation this evening for us?
Yes.
Okay, so you can start whenever you like, please.
Good evening. Tonight, we are, the applicant requests variance for VAAP 25-0103 Martinez Small Appliance Repair Shop. In accordance with the comprehensive zoning ordinance, the applicant requests variance approval for a requesting variance from section 63.3 requiring 65 feet B buffer yard along property lines adjacent to residential lot or parcel. The legal ad was printed in the local newspaper, September 19 and September 26. The applicant posted the property and sent notification to neighbors within 200 feet by September 25th. Property owner is Mr. Marcelino Martinez. The impacted property is in a residential mixed-use zoning district. The property is located on 37315 the location is 29745 Three Notch Road in Charlotte Hall. The land use of the property is a RMX, residential mixed use, and the zoning is residential mixed use. The existing condition is the property is 9,109 square feet with an existing 2,253 square feet roadside stand, construction in 1962. The proposed condition would be a small appliance repair shop, and the variance requested is to remove 65 feet B buffer yard along property lines adjacent to parcel 239 track 1 and parcel 84. The Maryland State Highway Administration, Wildlife Heritage Service, the St. Mary's County Health Department, the Department of Public Works and Transportation, and the St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission Soil Conservation District have no objection to the concept site plan. The Department of Land Use and Growth Management approval is pending the outcome of this hearing. This is the site plan. This is the detail of the site plan, landscaping plan. The maintenance and repair service minor, general standard, the site plan approval shall be required. Schedule 63.3 .3.A buffer yard standards. And Schedule 63.3.B states that 65 feet B buffer yard shall be required along property lines adjacent to residential parcel. The standard for granting variances, because of particular physical surroundings such as exceptionally narrowness, shallowness, size, shape, or topographical condition of the property involved, strict enforcement of this ordinance will result in practical difficulty, and the condition creating the difficulty are not applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification, and the purpose of the variance is not based exclusively upon reasons of convenience, profit, or caprice. It is understood that any development necessarily increases property value, and that alone shall not constitute an exclusive finding. And the alleged difficulty has not been created by the property owner or the owner's predecessors in the title, and the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood, and the character of the district will not be changed by the variance, and the proposed variance will not substantially increase the congestion of the public streets or increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood, and the variance complies as nearly as possible with the spirit, intent, and purpose of the comprehensive plan. Any question for me?
Yeah, I have one question. On your landscape design that you had out here, is that That doesn't show the 65-foot buffer, correct?
Correct.
That just shows a proposed landscaping from the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
One question, I guess I've read a little bit farther along on this, in this area, and I get the impression that when you have an adjacent and it's different zoning, you have the possibility of only being 50% of the, so the question is, are we waiving the entire?
Yes.
Or we're waiving 50% of it?
We are applying to waive all of it.
I give you a hard time.
No. No, I'm not trying to do that. Brandy Glenn.
Clear me up, okay?
You can provide you have the option to provide a half of a buffer yard if the other property is vacant.
Oh, it's not
And
vacant.
these properties aren't vacant.
It's not vacant. Okay,
Correct.
That was one of my other questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Good, okay. Mr. Vaughn, you presenting this case this evening too? Okay. And I swore you in earlier, so that will continue through this, okay? But just for the record.
Yes, sir.
If you would.
Steve Vaughn, Little Silences Rest, 41650 Courthouse Drive, Leonardtown, Maryland, 20650. All right. This evening, we are requesting a variance from the B buffer yard requirements on two sides of the property. All right, here's an aerial shot just showing the site location and the building there in white. All right, next photo, next slide, please. And just a blow up. So just so you can get a sense of scale of this property, it is only 9,109 square feet or 0.21 acres. So there's not a lot of room here for buffer yards. Next slide, please. And so here's a shot of the front of the existing building. This was the Woods Produce or Farm Stand in Charlotte Hall. And the applicant would like to change the use of this property from that to a small engine repair or small appliance repair shop. And another shot of the building. And this is the other side. The gravel area there is the so there is existing parking for this use on site already, and you can see that it's fenced in the rear as well as on the other side. Next slide. Okay, site plan. So we are not proposing any changes to the property. We are just going to utilize the existing building, the existing gravel parking, and like I said, no disturbance whatsoever. The ownership of Tract 1 and Parcel 84, which are the properties that require the B buffer yard, are residential, but they're also both owned by the applicant of this property where we're proposing this change of use.
I'm sorry, who are they owned by, Mr. Vaughn?
Mr. Martinez, Marcelo Martinez.
He owns both of those properties as well?
Yes, sir. And so applying a 65-foot B buffer yard from both of those sides would almost completely cover the entire property. Even if we went to the 50%, if that was allowed, it would still be all the way up to the back of that building, and then it would encroach into our existing parking lot there on the other side. And this is just a blow up of that area, just showing the existing building, existing conditions. And this is our landscaping plan. So in order to meet the requirement for landscaping, we are able to meet that. We do have a few areas where we can provide some roadside plantings as well as a little bit in the back there just to meet our landscaping requirements for this use. And that's all I have. If you all have any questions.
Yeah, I have a few. You have any questions?
I don't know whether we'll walk over one another on the questions.
Mr.
I guess my basic question is, it was a fruit stand before, and now it's going to be a small engine repair type thing.
Yes, sir.
Why wasn't this same kind of question already proposed before? And whether it's you to answer it or staff, but it seems to me that we would have already gone through this drill once before, okay? And therefore, it would be, the only difference is really between the two standards are one's 2,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet minimum requirements between the two. So that's, I'd just like a little history to clear this up.
So the reason we didn't have to go through the buffer yard
Yeah,
variance with the roadside stand
Yeah.
is because a roadside stand only requires a permit. So we don't even have to look at buffer yards.
okay.
So I'm going to tag on to that.
Sure.
Since Mr. Martinez owns it all, what difference does it make?
Why are you here?
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
because he's not using all three properties for this use. Those two other properties, while he owns them, they're still residential uses, so we have to treat them,
Okay.
regardless of who owns them, we have to treat them as the uses they are and apply the regs applicably.
Yeah, there,
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I hear you.
there is a term of art for what you're talking about there, Mr. Chairman. It's called zone and merger, and the idea is that if you got contiguous parcels under common ownership, they can be treated as one kind of conjoined parcel for the purposes of land use regulations. The issue that I think Luggum concluded here is that most states that follow it, and it's a little murky on Maryland, the lots to kind of become merged for those purposes have to be put towards the same common use. And here you got two residences that are each separate and distinct uses apart from this appliance store that's being set up. And if Mr. Scott, I'm open to being educated and further on this one because I think it's a little anyways, but I don't think it technically meets the requirements Maryland laws set forth for zone and merger,
Yeah,
even
when
though
I
it's
was-
under
when I was
common
reading through
ownership.
the-
Now
when I-
that need not restrain this board from doing what it thinks is right.
Right, I
But
understand.
And-
You know, and then when I came here and found out that he owns it all, I said,
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but those two lots are also zoned RL, whereas this property is RMX?
mixed use. His property is a mixed use, the commercial piece.
Yeah, right, it's residential mixed use, but I believe those,
Mr. Chair, I would confer with John, or concur with John on that. Also, you always have the possibility that he sells one or more of the lots without the others, and
Yeah.
therefore they're not in common ownership anymore.
Yeah, but that would be, like some of the other cases we've had, it's not a done deal. He still owns them, okay? And we've had some before, and it's been in front of us that,
We have,
Right.
but unless there was going to be some kind of lot line adjustment where we,
Right.
put all these lots together, or they were all used for the proposed use, then, we've got to look at them as they are today.
I got you. Okay, all right. So. Parking, can we go to that
Yes.
picture on the side there?
So we
And what's
provide,
what's required for
so the
this?
requirement for parking. So the parking requirement is two spaces per every 1,000 square feet of floor area. And we also need one off-street loading space. That's for the use number 58, small engine repair shop. We do provide, we provide one handicap space, a individual space next to the building, and then a loading space also next to the building. And then we are placing the remaining parking spaces on the other property, which is already what they're using. Mr. Martinez is going to sign a parking affidavit that, we're allowed to use that area for parking. So we meet the requirement.
Is it, now, can we go back to where it's got a picture of the building from the north side down south, north to south, please? And it shows that side of the building and the front of the building. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So you'd be parking along this side of the building, the north
Yes.
side of the building?
Yep, so there's we provide 2 parking spaces in front of this building, plus the loading space, and then on the other side of this gravel, closest to the edge of the photograph here, there's also additional parking there.
Gotcha. On the south side of the building, you've shown in your landscape plans that you're going to plant landscape in front of that. Isn't that a loading and unloading door as well?
So it is, let's go back to that photograph.
You can't see it from here. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, so it's in the grass area off to the side there, I believe.
South of the building?
In front of that fencing.
Got you. Okay.
Yes.
You're not going to block these doors.
Correct.
Okay. Because I know when it was woods, they parked down the street. They parked
Yeah.
every place there because it stayed pretty busy there. But with this kind of
This should be
activity, it would be much
than-
less than the.
Less activity
Than
along
the,
the road, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Mr. Payne, you have some questions?
Yeah, just a couple. This, is this just a general category that you're lumping this in? I read this stuff and I think I read 3 different uses, so it was all machine related, but that's what is Mr. Martinez really gonna do?
So it's a small engine repair shop is what he's proposing to do.
Okay.
Yes.
That-
Yeah, there's,
I think it was one blurb in there about that, and everything else was Mr. Fix-It,
yeah.
Okay, so, I remember when this place was rolling, and I'm surprised no one really ran into the building, when the speed limit was 55.
Right.
You remember
I do.
that?
I do.
Yeah. And it's really a dangerous place.
No danger, no more dangerous than the Loveville down Route 5.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this, and I made the comment just a few minutes ago, I remember when it was, when they sold meats, vegetables, all that out of it, okay? Flowers or whatever, and it was pretty busy. But I think with the type of business that he's going to be running there as far as commercial,
Seems to me you'll have less traffic here.
I think it'll be a whole lot less traffic.
Bringing in individual small engines compared to the fruit.
Okay,
and-
all right,
Yeah.
all right. Any other questions you have?
No.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Vaughn, you have anything else to present?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll open it up to public testimony. Anyone wishing to speak on this case this evening? We didn't have any written testimony, correct? We didn't have any written testimony on this case that I saw. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So seeing no one in the audience, we'll close the to public testimony and written testimony for this case. I guess it's up to discussion right now. It looks like to me from the size of the footprint of the commercial piece of property, even in the back, if they wanted something in the back that would separate that one residence, it would be into the plantings would be into your septic system and into the stormwater management system. It
would
goes
be-
under that.
Yeah, it would be all the way up to the back of the building, yes, sir.
So I think that would be detrimental to the business because that's what he does is unloading and loading is in the back and he needs space to store some equipment, I'm sure. And some of the tractors or mowers or whatever he's working on. And it would be to the north side that would, other piece
Also.
of buffer would be too, and that would get rid of all the parking, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it was a business there for years without a buffer.
Without a buffer?
And the guy that owned the business out front also owned the homes in the back, okay? Same, pretty much same scenarios we have here tonight. So,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not in favor of holding them strictly to the current requirement to open this business up. The man needs to make a living, and that's what we're after here, is to bring small businesses into the county and keep it here. And to do this would be much detrimental to his property. You know, it really doesn't make good sense to put it there. I know we have them written in there, but sometimes we have to take a look at each case individually. And I think in this case, the right thing to do would be to grant the
request.
And that would be my opinion.
I agree.
Anybody else have any comments?
I don't know if Mr. Payne has any either. I don't know.
No.
I agree with him, Mr.
Payne?
Chairman.
Any comments?
No.
Okay. Then if we don't have any other comments for this, I'm open for a motion.
All right, I'll try this.
Okay?
Okay.
In the matter of VAAP 25-0103 Martinez, small appliance repair shop, having made a finding that the standards for granting a general variance according to Section 24.3 and the objectives of Schedule 63.3.A and 63.3.B of the St. Mary's County zoning ordinance have been met. I move to approve the variance to remove the required 65-foot B-type buffer yard along property lines adjacent to parcel 54 and parcel 239, track 1.
And I'll
Parcel
second.
84.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I second.
And we have a second. All in favor? We'll start with Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, Mr. Vaughn, you can see the board has voted unanimously to support your applicant's request this evening. A 30-day period follows from the date the order is signed on which any aggrieved party may appeal the board's decision in circuit court. And the recording secretary will email you a copy of the order once it's been signed. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a good evening. Good luck. Our next case this evening is a variance request, VAAP 24-0666, Gladue. And Ms. Joelle, you making that presentation this evening?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. And whenever you're ready.
Just 1 second. Oops. Hold on. Okay, so our second public hearing this evening is variance application 240666, the Gladue property. They're requesting a variance from the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, sections 41.5.3 I1, to exceed the lot coverage limits, and from section 71.8.3 to disturb the critical area buffer for a replacement house. The legal advertisement was printed on September 19th and 26th, 2025 in the Southern Maryland News. Certified mailings were sent to adjacent property owners located within 200 feet of the project property, and a public hearing sign was posted on the property on or before September 24th, 2025. The owners of the property are Taylor and Tyler Gladue. The property consists of 1.42 acres and had an existing home, which was recently lost due to a structure fire, while a detached garage remains. The property received variance approval for a replacement house with a pool in 2024, and the new owners have since revised the house plan and are now seeking approval of the revised plan. The property is located at 17581 Whitestone Drive in Tall Timbers. Its land use is rural residential. It is zoned residential low density district. And the critical area overlay is resource conservation area. As mentioned previously, the property was developed with an existing home and deck, which was destroyed by fire in April of 2024, and the attached garage remains. The applicant is requesting a variance for the replacement house, which includes porches, a patio, and driveway. Critical Area Commission responded, and their comments are uploaded to board docs. Please take a moment to read them if you have not already. The site plan has received LUGM zoning, floodplain, and stormwater approvals, and Soil Conservation District and METCOM approvals are pending. Here's the site plan. Here's a detail of the site plan. It shows the existing house destroyed by fire and these dashed lines here. And then the proposed home, patio here, proposed home in gray, and porches in the gray shaded area. The lot coverage limit for this property is 15% or 9,339 square feet. The applicant is proposing 12,049 square feet, in excess of 2,715 square feet of lot coverage. The property as it existed prior to the fire had 12,142 square feet of lot coverage, and the site plan now proposes the new house and patio, 6,415 square feet, including a bit of the driveway, and then removing 6,508 square feet of existing house, decks, patios, and asphalt driveway. The total lot coverage limit for the parcel with the new construction is 12,049 square feet, and that's a reduction of 93 square feet over what existed prior to the fire. The applicant will plant a total of 4,831 square feet of mitigation, and the buffer management plan must be approved by LUGM prior to the issuance of a building permit. Are there any questions for staff?
Anybody have any questions?
I'll just for clarification for everybody. Normally, when you have a fire, you can rebuild in that same footprint, right?
Correct.
So the reason they're really here is because they're relocating out of that footprint, moving back.
So it's a little blurry as far as in-kind replacement goes in the regulations, but I'll let John address that.
Damn, do I have to have Mr. Hauser come up all the time?
I know. It is, Amanda is right. It is a little odd, though, and I'm trying to make sure I get the exact language right myself, which is why I'm bringing it up. I think it's restoration of a damaged structure in a critical area. It's basically words to the effect of you have the right to build it in the footprint, but the words in there are also to the effect of, but you also have to do your utmost to bring it into compliance with the current laws and regulations. I think we have had at least one other casualty to fire that was almost a total rebuild in the footprint, but because it was in the buffer, brought it in for a variance. And I want to say that was maybe 2 years ago. That was Coombs was the last name on that one,
assuming that
right?
because it was not in the exact same footprint, okay, that's why we were playing the game here.
I mean, I think
Yeah. The exact language, it's in the critical area program. I brought it up here. It's critical area language program points to 52.5, which is a section of the code that talks about non-conforming structures and restoration in general. And the exact word is the non-conforming use may be resumed, provided that appropriate approvals and permits are secured and the standards of this ordinance are met insofar as possible.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? Mr. Payne?
No, not at this.
Mr. Brown, you got any more?
No. Okay. All right.
Who's making presentation for this one this evening?
Tyler Gladue.
Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are both of you giving testimony? I don't plan to talk. Okay. Well, let's get you sworn in too, just in case. I haven't seen anybody sit here yet that didn't talk, okay? So, do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I do. Okay. Have a seat down front here. Okay. And when you do speak, please speak into the microphone, please. And for the record, if you'd give us your name and address, please, both of you, one at a time.
Tyler Gladue, 17581 Whitestone Drive, Tall Timbers, Maryland, 20690.
Thank you.
Taylor Gladue, 17581 Whitestone Drive, Tall Timbers, Maryland, 20690.
Thank you. And whenever you're ready.
So we are the current property owners. We bought the property from Mr. Hallgren, who, as everyone said before, had come before for a variance, and it was approved November 14th of this past year. We are now the property owners who are trying to put a house on the property. We've kind of tried to do what we can to limit the disturbance that we can do, but at the same time, try to get our house built. So here you can see the site plan. The existing house is really close to the water. You can almost see, where it was inside the buffer, where, we're basically pulling out the entire house from the old footprint to, get it out of the buffer as much as we can. But the problem we're, kind of running into is the existing garage is, the more we pull it back to get more out of the buffer, we're running into that garage there. This is an aerial photo of the property previous to the fire. Tax map. This is a 1938 historical photo here that, shows, I'm assuming at the time the house was completely out of the buffer, but due to erosion of the property, all that has, previously been lost. So this is a current photo of kind of what the property looks like today. I kind of, roughly drew some property lines on here in red that you can see on the sides there, but you can actually see in the middle of the property where the existing house was, or the structure was. And then if you look back at that site plan, we are kind of pulling out of that whole footprint there to try to come back where that first SUV is in the property would kind of be where the front door is, just to give us more of a backyard and also get out of that buffer. Another photo of the property looking from the opposite way. This was a photo after the fire, just showing the damage that the structure.
Got you.
Here's a little fact sheet that I kind of put together, but this shows, the original house had 12,142 square feet of lot coverage. The previous, time that Mr. Hallgren came and got approval from the board here had 11,991 square feet of lot coverage. And then we're proposing, a little bit more than that. But then if you go down to the next row there, you can kind of see, 4,466 square feet inside the buffer of lot coverage. And then we're trying to get 1,389 square feet inside the buffer of lot coverage with the current proposal. So way less, disturbance in the buffer than what was previously approved, and minus the pool that was also previously approved. In regards to, distance from the high tide mark, the original house was approximately 47 feet from the high water line, and we're pulling it back now to 66 feet to the patio, but the house would be, additional. And that's all I have.
Anyone have any questions?
I have some questions, but it's really, probably has nothing to do with the approval process. It's just curiosity. When did the fire occur?
You said April of
That was April of 2024.
Okay, just fairly recently. Now, getting it straight, the original owner, when they had the fire, they've sold it to you? Is that what happened?
Correct. So
Okay.
the original owner owned the property when the fire occurred. House burnt down. He went through full, building plans approval. We actually have the permit to build that house that he had. It was
Okay.
roughly 7,000 square feet or something in our names now. We've transferred it to us and tried to revise that plan to build, what's more affordable for us. And then here we are.
Okay, that's why you're here. Okay. Okay, I just wanted a little bit of history. Thank you.
No problem.
That's all.
Mr. Payne?
Nothing yet.
So kudos to you for trying to move it back out of the buffer, okay? That's a big deal. It's only one little piece of the house until it plus your patio. And according to the Critical Area Commission, it's 3,299 square foot outside the buffer now than what it was inside. So that's a big deal for them as well. And they didn't even have any bad words to say. Okay, they made some comments, but they were all positive comments. in
Which
there,
is very unusual,
which is
Mr. Chairman.
unusual for that. But I don't know. So how close is it to your garage?
Approximately 22 feet is
Okay.
the length of that breezeway, I believe. Something around there.
Is that closed-in breezeway?
Yes, that's the breezeway there. So the actual proposed house will not have a garage since the existing garage is there, so we're just tying that in with a breezeway.
Right, makes sense.
Well, when
Makes
you
sense.
have, what, 5, 6 bays?
Right.
You do have a lot of cars then.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had one. I'm not sure if you can answer it. It said stormwater or replacement improvements will be treated with environmental site design. Okay, what does that mean? I'm sure you don't know, but
That's an excellent
Right.
question,
It's-
Mr. Payne. I think Stacy has an answer.
There you
Here
go.
comes Daisy. Okay.
Environmental site design is the downspouts. They're doing the non-rooftop disconnect, rooftop disconnect, and I believe they have a cistern also.
that's off to
The
the
environmental
side.
site design are their best management practices.
okay.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
Right? So, yep.
Absolutely.
Since
It's
you're
been
starting
approved.
off new,
Right.
get it the way you want it.
Any other questions?
No.
Anything else that you would like to present?
No,
at this
sir.
time? All right, let's open up public testimony. Anybody wishing to speak on this case this evening? We had no comments on board docs, correct?
That's
No,
correct.
I didn't see any. Okay, great. All right. Seeing no one wishes to speak, we'll close the public testimony to written and verbal comments and open up board discussion. So I'm going to start it. I think they've done a wonderful job, to be honest with you, to bring it out of the buffer,
Oh,
okay? And think that much of it to bring it back some 30-some odd feet, okay? It's, and not having to put another garage up, tying into the existing garage, so it's a save all the way around. And
well, Mr. Chairman, I have a 3-car garage, and looking at this one being 6, I can imagine the amount of stuff they're going to stuff in that garage.
right, right. So
No, I absolutely agree. I think they've done a great job.
I do too. Mr. Payne, you have any comments?
Not really.
Okay, then if we all are good with the comments and all, I'm open for a motion.
You have it, does he have it, you have it available there?
Huh?
You have it available? I got to scramble for it.
Yeah, I'll do it. In the matter of VAAP 24-0666, the Gledu property, having made a finding that the standards for granting a variance and the objectives of Section 24.4 of the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance have been met, I move to approve the variance request from Section 41.5.3.I. Open and close parens. 1, to exceed lot coverage for a replacement home and having made a finding that the standards for granting a variance and the objectives of Section 24.4 of the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance have been met, I move to approve the variance request from Section 71.8.3 to disturb the critical area buffer for a replacement home.
And I'll second.
We have a motion second. We'll start with Mr. Brown.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Aye. So as you can see, the board has voted unanimously to support your request this evening. An order reflecting the board's decision will be prepared by staff and signed by the board within 60 days. A 30-day period follows from the date the order is signed, during which any aggrieved party may appeal this board's decision in circuit court. And our recording secretary will email you a copy of the order once it's been signed, okay? Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, enjoy. So did both of you have an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting, September 11th meeting?
Yeah.
So if there's no additions, deletions, or corrections, then I'm, motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Those approved. And we have 4 orders tonight, I think. The first one is the Burks property. That was to disturb the expanded critical area buffer for pool, patio, and wasn't there a house on that? Pool, patio, and house on the Burks? Or was it just a pool and patio?
I think it was the pool and patio.
I apologize. Let me see.
Because it says pool, patio, and it doesn't show anything else. I don't know what, so one of them, we had a house involved in that as well. I don't remember whether it was this one or not.
Was it the September 11th?
Where did council?
August 28th.
Okay, I'll find out. I'm sorry. I get so many.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was.
For a pool and a patio,
Pool
Yeah.
and patio, and then it says and, I don't know.
and pursuant to the notice.
Okay, all right, so we good there?
That's- yeah.
Oh, just a pool and patio? Okay.
Right.
Okay, we voted 5-0 to approve that one. So the 3 of us were sitting, I just need a motion to sign.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And next one is the variance request VAP 23-0267, the Evergreen Disposal.
I move that the chairman sign.
And that was voted 5-0 to support that one too. And that one was,
Let's have
Second.
questions.
that was the horizontal feet of the home and institution building.
Yeah.
And we voted to support the applicant on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the next one is Drift-In Communications Tower. That was a variance, I guess, as well, wasn't it? Yes.
Did you catch the correction for what they have? The slight misspelling, leaving one letter out.
So, Mr. Brown, I think staff called it. I'm not 100% sure if the copy you got in front of you is it. But Mr. Brown's referencing Mr. Showalter, Mr. Fisher's counsel that night. In one place, his name is misspelled. It omits a
Page
T.
5.
Okay.
In your, look at page 5.
I think I think that's well within the realm of staff's discretion to fix as a clerical correction that is only a matter of form. But we're on notice of that. We'll make sure that gets done.
When he listed the entire partners of the thing, he left out Mr. Showalter's L, or T, one of them. Yes, T. Very minor. Shouldn't affect your being able to sign
No, that's good.
and slip the correction in if it hasn't been corrected.
Okay. So,
I move that you sign with that correction
Okay.
added.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the last one is the Richard property. Variance request, BAP 25-0728. To allow residential development to be closer to the water than principal structure on the adjacent parcel and the deck. And everybody voted to support that one as well. 5-0.
So moved that you sign it, sir.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And for the good of the order, what do we got? We have anything? Our next meeting is October the 23rd. We have two cases. One's a variance and one's a conditional use. Okay. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I've got to say this, at least for the benefit of our council's parents, who I'm sure are listening to this show tonight, that their son is now having his 32nd birthday. However, since we don't have Ms. Weaver to carry a tune for us here, I think we'll leave it at that.
And the board thanks you, and Mr. Hauser, I'm sure, thanks you. Okay. So, anyway, happy birthday, Mr. Hauser. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Mr. Payne, Mr. Brown?
No.
Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.